in the socio-intercultural communication, regardless of the specific cultures and situations. So a deep knowledge of socio-intercultural systems is applied in some different situational contexts and environments. And this is what happened in this, specifically in this study. So this study aims to analyze the socio-intercultural entrepreneurship as a capability building and development. We all know about the socio-intercultural entrepreneurial interactions that become inevitable in any type of business transaction and analysis. So this study of international entrepreneurship is current in emerging economies and is a holistic organizational process that integrates organization immersed in several cultures to explore opportunities in the international market. Here I'm talking about some introduction notes. You know, the countries with the greatest intercultural and entrepreneurial exchange that have the tendency towards economic, trade, and financial liberalization. So this analysis allows the transformation of the type of social and cultural entrepreneur to new type. This is our proposal, a socio-intercultural entrepreneur. The relevance of this study, of course, is quite relevant, especially for a socio-intercultural country like is Mexico, with more than 70 indigenous groups, besides the dominant group, which is the Spanish Mexican descendants. So we can see also around the world, some countries have the same situation, a very similar situation that we have. So we are concerned with the capability building for future orientation, to imagine and engage in future-oriented behaviors, contingencies, and activities, such as planning, setting goals, investing, formulate socio-intercultural dimensions. And this requires, of course, the capability building. So a conceptual and theoretical framework is the next step. So we are based fundamentally in the studies of Baum, Baron, and Katz, that personal factors influence organizational success. So entrepreneurship is a term that has been used since it refers to the entrepreneurial spirit training system that emphasizes the development of skills for self-generation of employment. This is from Solar. So the concept of socio-intercultural is that it's necessary to start from Bourdieu. Bourdieu, I think, is the first, one of the first thinkers that started to talk about this background that we call the socio-interculturality, who conceives that society is structured with two types of relationships: social, the ones of strength, referring to the value of uses and changes on that encompasses and witness other types of relationships, such as the ones of sense, which are responsible for the organization of the relationships in the meaning of social life. These last ones, in this perspective, are the ones that constitute the culture. So, in a sense, Bourdieu is talking about not only the social ingredient, but also the meaning of sense. That is the cultural background of individuals. Socio-intercultural is related with cultural, intracultural, and intercultural, besides the social dynamics. So society and culture are two interrelated concepts, in an allusion that culture also refers to a collective. In a society, there are cultures who relate with each other. So what is interculturality? But none of them are static and are modified with time. Intraculturality, even so, there are forces who affect the cultures, the intrasocial, and that impressed the strength in part of the background of the Bourdieu. Socio-interculturalism, as we are talking about, is based mainly on this theoretical framework. It's also a process that notice the intimate relationships. We add that to that framework, that a process that is an intimate relationship between culture, society, and nature, society and culture, and that allows, we are adding nature. You can see here, we are adding the ingredient of nature that allows identifying the relationship of meanings as a fundamental component of other cultures, such as the indigenous worldview, with understanding, explanation, and where appropriate, the possession of assets that are required for the interaction of natural forces that explain the cultural practices. So there is a socio-intercultural dynamics going on in entrepreneurship. It's not easy most of the times to understand the indigenous students coming from different indigenous groups in Mexico, to understand exactly how to transfer the capabilities of the entrepreneurship. But we need to find anyway entrepreneurship opportunities which are perceived differently in different cultures, but they also depend on the economic opportunities that social forces present. On one hand, the intercultural dynamic can be an interpretive framework relevant in any dimension of entrepreneurship that makes sense of individuals and groups and on behaviors. And we can see very easily this in our students coming from different indigenous groups, that they have different concepts about the nature. They have also different conceptualization about the relationships, but not only with nature, but also with the society, and more explicitly with the community. The methodology we are using is an exploratory analytical tools and the theoretical and empirical literature review. So let's display a little bit more. These entrepreneurship opportunities are perceived differently by different groups. In one hand, the intercultural dynamic can be interpretive framework relevant to any dimension of entrepreneurship that makes sense of the individuals, groups, and behavior, and determines their attitudes and the specific culture supporting entrepreneurship. Let me talk here. I know that I don't have enough time, but I think it's necessary sometimes, to go down to earth. When this university, socio-intercultural university that is called Autonomous Indigenous University of Mexico started, the students were coming from about 19 different indigenous groups. And the university provided accommodation, but also food and everything, because they were coming to the communities, to the university, and they needed to establish. However, the girls, it was a phenomenon that in the first year, a lot of indigenous girls were pregnant. What happened here, it was, terrible for the community, community that is right-oriented, to blame not only the university authorities, but also the problems that how was possible that these girls were pregnant very easily. And the media, the authorities, the religious authorities, all went against the university, and the president, the provost, said, instead of blaming the university, instead of blaming us, instead of blaming our students, please help them. I'm going to help them provide clothes, provide all that the students will need. They are not going to go away from the university. We are going to keep them, and we are going to keep also their children. So that's an example of how these indigenous groups see nature, see the relationship with the community. So there is a difference between socio-intercultural entrepreneurship and cultural and social entrepreneurship. This social entrepreneur is committed to society, guided by innovative practices to solve social problems in different ways. So the emergence and development of cultural entrepreneur has a purpose of its action, the creation of healthy habits with the creation of social value. Of course, we understand how we need to they have a very, very tight closeness to their culture and from their values, and then from there spring up. So intercultural entrepreneurs are able to understand intercultural, and intrasocial dynamics. So the socio-intercultural entrepreneurship is a notion that the professional relationship between individuals from diverse cultures, as it happened with these students from the different 19.
Dr. Jose, we have only 3 minutes time. 3 minutes time, please.
Okay, they are confused. Let me jump into the conclusions. So the value of socio-intercultural entrepreneurial interactions results in new business ventures, projects, products, markets, meeting the needs of people. So entrepreneurial activities require support programs designed and implemented based on the specific intercultural, and intrasocial dynamics of the environment, mixing these relationships between nature, society, or more commonly called here community, and the individual behaviors. The culture. The increasing global business transactions requires the development of new forms of these socio-intercultural entrepreneurships, such as multinational strategic alliance and joint ventures, and it's happening, it started happening already. So the entrepreneur needs to understand and practice socio-interculturalism in internationalization process to develop the ability to break down the barriers that exist between the various cultures in the world. Socio-intercultural entrepreneurship is a proposal that presents a methodological frame to understand society in which enterprises immerse and take more assertive decisions, not only from the entrepreneur's benefit, but to maximize social benefits. Universities to the programs should be oriented so that the professionals they acquire entrepreneurial skills capable of becoming agents of change and generators the self-employment. And one recommendation that professional practice in socio-intercultural entrepreneurship requires interactive, analogical, contrastive, and critical approaches of culture, economic, sociopolitics, management, language, socio-intercultural communication, and all these things. I want to apologize. I didn't present any photographs of the indigenous students because it's not allowed by our laws or national laws to present them because it is against the discriminatory law. Apologies, but you get a glimpse of what is going on here. Thank you very much. Ranil, I don't hear you.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Jose. I think now I'm audible. You have spoken a lot of new things. Actually, I came to know from you what is happening in your country in Mexico about the socio-cultural, say, capability initiatives to develop the entrepreneurship in your country. Just a small quick question. This is just a curiosity. What are the communities there actually who are getting affected positively, most positively, by these such kind of initiatives supported by the government or the private sector or the universities who are actually getting benefited, and there are a lot of entrepreneurial ventures or startups are coming up from their side. So can you quickly, briefly tell me about 2-3 minutes like that? You think actually for us?
Okay, I'm talking about one specific university that started operations by the year 2000, and that was the first university who was founded only by what can I say, by an anthropologist who started to work with these indigenous groups. However, the main established in the status of the state did not allow to continue their operations by the way, so they founded another group of universities that is called Intercultural Universities, and they had some problems. They needed to change also the name of the university to the University on Intercultural of Sinaloa, until recently, 2 years ago, they got again their former name as a indigenous university of Mexico. But let me tell you that they had very difficult time. Now the government is working, it's really doing a very good work with a network of universities that are called Intercultural Universities. But the first one that started operations, that was the national, the Autonomous University, Indigenous University in the northwest of Mexico.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We know very few about Mexico from this part of the world. Where actually, when I'm calling from UAE, so we don't have that much of exposure about the Mexico. But thank you very much for your very informative presentation. That actually have got us some idea. Thank you so much, sir. You can unshare this screen so that I can invite the next speaker, Dr. Aminu Sani from Nigeria.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Aminu Sani from Nigeria. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay. Aminu, yeah, thank you. Can you hear me properly? Okay. Just Dr. Aminu, can you briefly tell us about yourself and your topic, and you can share the screen and you can start presentation.
Okay, no problem. Let me share it. Definitely, I'm looking for the screen to share.
Just go to the share screen option. There's a green button there. You can just click there, and you can find out what are the, if you have any PPT to share, PowerPoint slide to share, you can share through that way. And
okay, okay, I'm trying to share it, but I didn't see it definitely. It is possible to continue like that, or?
Yeah, sure. No issue. Please, you can carry on, please.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, please continue. Please continue.
Continue, sir.
Please.
Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. So my name is Aminu Sani from Nigeria, from the University of Al-Khaimah University, Katsina, and my favorite title is the role of entrepreneur and economic and entrepreneur development of Katsina State. Yes. So first of all, I have to start with the introductions, then the abstract. Then my paper is examined the roles of entrepreneur in the economic and social development. Before I go into deep, let me like to introduce a little about that introduction. So with me here is the introduction. One, small and medium enterprise helps for economic growth of a country. Number two, the small and medium enterprise of a business maintain revenue assets for a number of employment. Then number three, small and medium enterprise provide employment opportunity in a country in the world. Then the number four, small and medium enterprise provide goods and services in any country. Then the number four, under introductions, entrepreneur also provide great opportunity in terms of creativity and innovation in such a way that bringing the new idea of a business to promote economic development. That is, can I explain one after another? We talk about the entrepreneur provide goods and services. Definitely, in Katsina State, in Nigeria, there are some companies that are created, and the importance of this company are provide goods and services for our country. Such goods and services are, before, if a customer needs to buy, if a panel consumer needs a product, he have to go far before obtaining this product. But because of this entrepreneur, or that small and medium enterprise, goods are available. Anywhere there is a big market, there is a market that you can go and buy goods and services for your choice. I hope you understand. Then the number 2 point is the entrepreneur provide employment opportunity in the timing. It's true. It's true. And entrepreneur provide good opportunity to our teaming youth nowadays. Most especially if you go to some company that are created, minor films that a company created, it is very, very important. A lot of productions are available, employment opportunity also there to provide goods and services to our teaming youth. And this is the welcome development. Yes, then number 2, entrepreneur provide opportunity in terms of creativity, production of goods and services to our teaming youth. It's true. It's true as how. That is, when there is a lot of company, it's easier for people to have jobs in that company. And this company can employ, it's a great opportunity to employ more people to that. And people that are working also is for the purpose of earning their living. Also, it helps to promote economic development. We're talking about the entrepreneur. That is, entrepreneur factor will be very important factor for future economic growth due to its ability to adapt changing business conditions in terms of globalization. I will understand. So this is a little about my introduction. Let me move to objective of the study, objective and methodology of my study. This paper examines the role of small and medium enterprise for the growth of Nigerian economy, contributes significant on average between 50% to 60% value added, because majority of our companies are generating the revenue and provide employment opportunity to our teaming youth in customer state. This paper also examines the role of entrepreneur in economic development in terms of revenue generation, employment opportunity. Number 2, this paper uses historical content analysis approach. It is methodology. Then I move to conceptual review. That's conceptual review, medium enterprise and economic development. 1, employment opportunity. Entrepreneur development bring more employment opportunity to our teaming youth, more especially in Kasana, because more companies were created, and this company, they must look for the staff that work for. After that, interested applicant may likely have opportunity to assess this company in terms of employment. When they employ, it's another opportunity to earn their living. That's right. That's the role of entrepreneur in employment opportunity. Then the role of entrepreneur in provide goods and services. As I told you earlier, the goods and services are available through the entrepreneur, because without the entrepreneur, there is no business. And this business is the process of buying and selling of goods and services. That is, if there is entrepreneur development and some company are provide goods and services, when these goods and services are provided to our people, it is very easier. It is very important effort to our people in order to have any good they like without taking long time. Before we get a product, you have to shopping it. You have to take it to China and buy this product. But because of that entrepreneur, you don't need to go far for obtaining this product. Products are available with you because of entrepreneur. Number 3, generation of internal revenue. That is very good. One of the role of entrepreneur in Nigeria is generating revenue. Companies are available. Majority of companies are established and existing. So tax must be generated through those companies. How we understand? When a company provides a tax to a particular state, it can help to improve economic strategy and economic development for this particular country. Because the moment they have more companies, this is where the tax will be increased. How we understand? Then this is about the role of entrepreneur in generation. Then the role of entrepreneur to provide social amenities of the country. Yes, very good. A lot of company was created in order to provide social amenities, such as shopping mall, maybe international library, and after that international library, there is maybe stadium, and this stadium provide is a playground. It's a place that can practice in order to motivate yourself in terms of physical energy. I understand. So this is another role of entrepreneur in terms of what creation of employment, creation of social amenity. The last one is establishment of entrepreneur training center. One of the important entrepreneur is enable government. Government is to intervene in small and medium enterprise in order to create industries, in order to create centers of entrepreneur. This is where people learn. People are learning a lot of entrepreneur skill in order to become a productive for this particular country. When they become a productive for this particular country, is another economic development. Then I shall move to observation and discussion. One, government encourage stockholder for investment. It's true. Government encourage stockholder to investment in small and medium enterprise, so that when this company stand by its own, there is nothing collapse. When the company collapse, there is a lot of problems that encounter for this particular set. Youth that are working in this company, definitely they are become redundant to this company. A lot of opportunity is there. Number two, stockholder organization are encouraged for creating a small company. Government must ensure that the company are created of a particular country, so that when the company created, the company can help to promote economic development in terms of revenue generation, employment opportunity, and providing of goods and services. Number three, inadequate availability of entrepreneur training center of the state. Confirm the government must enhance, encourage for what to create an entrepreneur training center for this particular country in order to promote economic development. Number three, lack of government intervention. That is, the government intervention is very, very important in entrepreneur, because a lot of companies they are working. Some of the company are provide goods and services, and the problem of some of our company is the owner of the company. Some of them they don't have enough money to run that company. Within a short period of time, company will collapse.
Dr. Ravi, you have to finish by 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You have to finish by 2 minutes because time has come on also.
Okay, let me to conclusion and recommendation. Yes, conclusion. The effort shall be made to ensure that adequate infrastructure facility are placed in proper operation. So evident enterprise. New economic policy shall introduce in a country to prevent massive importance. This study recommends that the government shall ensure that the company of the country are existing and established to improve economic strategy and effort. I hope you understand. This is a little our conclusion and recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Ravi, there is a small quick question from my side. Not a very critical question, very simple question for information only. You have done your study on the state is in Nigeria, that is Katsina. And you have done on the Katsina, and you have mentioned your studies on the small and medium-sized enterprise. So how many small and medium-sized companies are there, enterprises are there in that particular state? Usually any data, any statistics you have?
Okay. Okay, your question is that how many small and medium enterprises are in Katsina State?
Yes.
Definitely, Katsina State. We have a lot of 40 existing small and medium enterprise in Katsina. Because company containing engineering, education, and maybe and business sector. A lot of companies for business are available. A lot of companies that produce goods and services in Katsina are available. So and now in Katsina we have more than 40 companies, existing companies.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Amino. Okay. So thank you so much again. So I am now calling Dr. Hussam Omar. Dr. Hussam Omar will be speaking from UAE, and he is speaking on exploratory and exploratory study of characteristics and attributes of Arab entrepreneurs in Central America. So, Dr. Umar, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Dr. Umar, yes.
I didn't understand your question.
No, I'm talking to Dr. Umar.
Your question. Repeat the question, sir.
No, this is the next, I am talking about the next presenter, Dr. Umar.
So Dr. Umar Hassan is not here.
Okay, he's not here. Okay, fine. Then we can jump to the next speaker, and if Dr. Kumar joins by the time, then we can accommodate him. The next speaker will be speaking as per the schedule provided to me. Dr. Almira Kalaj. She will be speaking from Albania, and she will be speaking on challenges faced by enterprises during the COVID-19 farm level estimation.
Hello to everyone. I'm Almira Kalaj. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
I come from the University of Shkodra, Albania, and I have a PhD in international economics from the University of Trento, Italy. Actually, I'm responsible of the courses of public economics, financial behavior in my university. Now I'm going to share my presentation. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you for your reply. I will put it in the presentation mode so you can have a wider view. Okay. The paper I will present is on the challenges faced by enterprises during COVID-19, a firm level estimation. I have to say that my study is more empirical if compared to the other two presentations. This is what I'm going to present next. In the beginning, I will give some background and motivation, then go quickly through data methodology, give some regression results, and in the end, some discussions. Pandemic has encouraged a new wave of studies quantifying effects on enterprises. Empirical research show that pandemic increased economic uncertainty through revenue loss, mass layouts, closure, and liquidity shortages. Data revealed that firms focused post COVID-19 labor adjustments by increasing reduced working time or hours. The pandemic shock has worsened financial constraint, mostly for small enterprises and micro enterprises. However, more study is needed in the long run effect. Let me say something about the business environment in Albania. According to BEPS, or Business Environment Enterprise and Performance Survey conducted by the World Bank, the top 3 business obstacles for the Albanian enterprises were electricity issues, competitors' practice in the informal sector, and corruption. Competitors' practice in the informal sector were mainly obstacles for small and medium enterprises, while corruption was more problematic for large firms. Tax administration and access to land were among the chief constraints for young firms. I have to say that around 25.5% of businesses are female-owned enterprises. Here we have some data on the obstacles, more on informal payments as a constraint for businesses in Albania. And here's some basic indicators, and they are structured by size class of enterprises, data from 2020, the Institute of Statistics of Albania. According to the same institute, for 2022, the number of active economic enterprises decreased by 1.5%, which is not a large number if we compare with the other countries from the region. Enterprises that operate in trade sector had the highest percentage with around 39%. The number of total employed decreased by 5.1% compared to 2019, and producers of service was about 63%, while producers of good about 36%. Investment decreased as well by 90.8% during the same period. Here we have some of the annual changes in the main indicators I showed before. And here we have the annual turnover growth rate divided by the different sectors of enterprises. The data I used for my study are those on enterprise survey from 2019 and also the enterprise survey follow-up on COVID-19 for Albania. So there are two different data merged in one, data sets merged in one. The ES of 2019 contains 377 interviews, while the data set on the COVID-19 or the follow-up data are those collected during June 2020 on the private sector. The target group is all the registered established businesses for 5 or more employees in different sectors, as you can see in the slide, and the response rate is quite high, 92%. Here we have the distribution among different sectors and also among the different regions of Albania, northern, central, and southern Albania. The method I've used in order to give answer to the research question is the following. I'm using either ordinary least square and also probit model as shown for the different components of performance of enterprises. And XY, as you can see, is a vector of variables including size, age, status, location, if the firm is exporter, female ownership, etc. But more in detail, you can see the dependent variables, the several dependent variables that help me to measure performance of enterprises, which are sales growth, employment growth, closure, if there's been some of closures during COVID-19, production adjustments, how digital are these enterprises, and the remote activity. And here we have a list of independent variables. According to the regression results for all the 6 independent variables, here we have some data. As we can see, R squared and adjusted R square are not so high. However, only few of coefficients tend to be statistically significant and explain somehow those obstacles encountered by the Albanian enterprises during COVID-19. Empirical results, as I said, show that only few coefficients are statistically significant when it comes to the general enterprise performance. The size of firms matter when it comes to closure because smaller firms are more likely or have a higher propensity to close during COVID-19 compared to manufacturing service enterprise experience smaller reduction of sales, while the probability, maybe this is related to the probability of starting remote work arrangements and so on. Younger and foreign enterprises are more propense to adopt internet and technology in their business activity. However, further investigation is needed in order to evaluate if there are time lag in the adaptation with shocks, pandemic or not. Future research could focus on quantifying the value on investing and incentives to mitigate, in a way, downside risks in facing different crises, different type of crisis. This is it. This is what I was supposed to present about COVID-19 experience of enterprises in Albania. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Doctor. Just one quick question for my curiosity, that is Albania, how they're recovering now? Actually, after COVID is already almost over across the globe. At least in our part of the world is almost over. everything is going normal and business is recovering again. So what is the situation there in Albania? I mean, industry is recovering, their small and the medium and the large corporations are doing well now, or what are the things actually happening there?
Okay, I have to say that the structure of enterprises is mostly occupied by small and medium enterprises, because around 95% are small and medium enterprises. And as my data show, small and micro enterprises had more difficulties related to sales decrease or closure. As you've seen, only 1.5% closed during COVID-19, meaning that, okay, there was reduction, but not a very significant reduction, while the large firms or enterprises, they did quite good during COVID-19.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks to you for your question.
Thank you. So the next speaker I'll be calling, inviting, that is Dr. Angela Vaz. I mean, she'll be speaking from Portugal. So Dr. Angela Vaz, is she there?
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello. Good morning,
Okay.
all. I'm Angela and Mr. Adalmiro.
Okay, fine.
We will show our PowerPoint.
Yeah. It's almost evening here. It's almost evening here, and your side it's morning. Right. It's in Dubai. Yeah.
First of all, it was a pleasure to stay here. We would like to congratulate for this conference. Okay, it's most important for us. Our article is the Walt Disney company, because known simply as Disney, in the American multinational mass media company, Wet Square at Walt Disney Studios in Berkeley in California. Right.
Thank you all. Also, we want to make from this Walt Disney an example of innovation in a market about the tourism and the entrepreneurship. What we did, we divide our presentation in presentation of the company, then the presentation of the main points in innovation, and the conclusion.
The founder is Walt Elias Disney. He was born in the 1901 in Chicago. There are two parts,
Sorry.
in Kansas and in Chicago.
Also, Hollywood is a well-known place that is explored by Walt Disney, with some of the iconic movies in the past that everyone knows about. Alice in the Wonderful World. Let's hope the world will be wonderful. It's an expectation for all. In 1928, one of the most also known that was Mickey Mouse cartoon. It was one of the most well-known in the world. It's a marketing machine, basically, with a lot of products with the mark of the Minnie Mouse. Also, after 4 years, also well-known Snow White here in Portugal, and we believe in many countries. The kids love Mickey Mouse, the girls also Snow White and the princess. They want everything, all dolls in terms of these pictures. And in 1955, also one mark in the evolution of the Walt Disney Company, it was the opening of the Disneyland Park in California, that is visited by millions of people. Also, there is one in Paris, also visited from millions of people. Of course, these have a tremendous breakdown in the past with COVID, but let's see if we can this can recover with the slowest of the pandemic situation in the world. About the company.
In these 2 points, inserted market, the missions and the social responsibility, the partnerships. 12 theme parks, Disney experience and products, distribution on mediately Disney, intermains the studies, generationship, entertainment and program in the network.
Yes. So these parks are known from where you can take the family and get in the morning and stay there all day with a lot of experience to have, and of course it's a commercial area very well known. The mark, the Disney parks. Disney parks, you have the Disney parks, the company of Disney Entertainment and the studio content. Three minds. The Disney park, we have the theme parks, for example. I saw that in Paris there are the Walt Disney and the studio of movies side by side. So there are, of course, merchandising, toys, clothes, books, and games that what we saw that in terms of selling products, there's a lot in terms of this using the Walt Disney Pictures, The entertainment Disney media involves all networking and of course all the movies that there are, many of them known by millions of people, and of course also the studio contact with episodes and also different movies.
The global entertainment, the products use the platforms to make the transmissions of the cable networks, ASPN and the sports content, live sports programming, as well as original and one scheduled sports relation, the new and content.
So you can see that I'll start with a picture. I'll start with a mouse, Mickey Mouse, in the past, and then everything grow and grow. It goes from magazines to movies to go to episodes. And there are channels for the kids. Specialized in Disney, and also the themes park with the themes park. Also another area is a sport, like Angela said before, and that also the Disney is looking for. So this is an idea that starts in beginning of the last century, and it grows. So we conclude that it is. We get the idea that we want to expose that it is a success process of entrepreneurship. About mission, social responsibility, and partnerships. The mission, of course, it is entertainment, inform everyone with technology and creativity. Social responsibility, there are the engagement with society and talents. And of course, partnerships, the Amazon for distributing the products that Walt Disney have, and also Iceland, Leif, Marriott, Duracell, Tesco, Subway, so a lot of companies.
Entrepreneurship. which is the entrepreneurship, the process in the entrepreneurship at Walt Disney Company.
Entrepreneurship. So we are in a team, we are in a room with papers about the entrepreneurship. We are in the right place. Everyone knows that entrepreneurship is something complex that englobes several factors that starts with an idea that should be innovative. It should be an invention, should be new. So it's basically one idea that starts all the process.
The process in business, in social, and entrepreneurship. In business, innovate idea that generated, okay? In social, Walt Disney Global was positive impact in the company. Entrepreneurship, many departments with like objectives, programs for your employers to be on their information to be continuing. The point 4, process innovation.
You may ask what it is innovation, you know, all of you also. Innovation is something that it is new, but not only for us, it should be also for the market. So we can present something, we can take something and say, come on, this is new, this is not exist, but this is not the idea. This idea is to get something new to the market and see the market recognize such thing as new and innovative. Without innovation, we want to underline this sentence here. Without innovation, there is no evolution. No evolution. We also have here, we have a company in Iceland. We also looking always for the innovation, because if we don't innovate, we cannot move on and grow in future, and that's main goal from a company.
The process in innovation, there are innovation incremental, example in incremental, innovation radical, and example radical.
Yes, several times.
Yeah. 2 examples, 2 innovations.
Yes.
So in the last, Disneyland will never work completed. It will be continuing to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. This is true, okay? Grow and grow and grow.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alnero and Dr. Anjali. Just one quick question, because it is something about what I have seen and what the others audience have seen, that it is something you have tried to contextualize the concepts and the practices of entrepreneurship in the context of a company, that is Walt Disney, we all know. What exactly the business model Walt Disney follows? Any idea you can say? What kind of business model Walt Disney follows? Because when you're talking about innovation or some of the things, like when you talk about say Uber, or when you talk about any other company, they're all entrepreneurs. They start with a smaller level, then they become very big, globally owned companies. So they always follow some kind of business model. So what kind of business model do you think any unique business model they actually follow? What is it they actually follow, and they have been successful by adopting that business model?
Yes. So basically, we conclude that it all starts with a radical model, a radical innovation. So they create a new target in the market. They create a new market. We can go on this way. They create a new market, and now they look for diversification. So they have. When we look to a cartoon like Mickey Mouse with 60 or 70 years old and still alive, why? Because they use it now in toys, they use in cars, they use in notes, they use in pens, they use in everything you can imagine. They create a new market, and now they are diversification, exploring the maximum possible every toy, every cartoon they do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now I'll be calling, just 1 second. Anybody from UAE, you're saying a name there. Okay.
It's us, I guess, Alishan, Karimov, and Mandan.
Alishan, yes, Alishan from Hungary, yes. So Alishan, Dr. Alishan Karimov, yes, if I'm not wrong. So please share your screen and you can start. Wow, it's a great area, blockchain technology.
Can you hear us clearly?
Yeah. Absolutely fine, yes.
Good day, everyone. It's me, Alishan Karimov, and my colleague Mandana Garedavi here. And today we are going to talk about blockchain technology as a solution, as an innovative way of dealing with sustainable issues in terms of operations of Airbnbs. So first of all, as Airbnb is a part of accommodation sector and therefore tourism sector, I want to shortly talk about the general effects of tourism industry. First of all, it's clear that tourism industry brings foreign currency to any region because as a result of tourist spending, and they also increase the level of employment. According to statistics of World Tourism Organization, almost 10% of the world population is employed by the tourism industry. And it's also clear that as an emergence of tourism industry, related infrastructure also getting improved. And finally, as all of these revenues are flowing into the economy, state budget also takes benefit of it as a increased tax revenue. However, there are some new types of tourism products. Our colleagues before this presentation also was talking about innovation. I want to mention that Airbnb is not an incremental, however, radical type of innovation, because as Gutenberg is also mentioned here, introduction of Airbnb is without a doubt one of the most significant and revolutionary recent events in the global tourism industry. So in terms of innovation, there are process innovation, product managerial and marketing innovations. Airbnb is merely a product innovation and a radical one, as I mentioned. In their website, they introduce Airbnb as an online platform for members where hosts can share their accommodation with the guests and charge their desired price accordingly. And they also mentioned that in their portal, Airbnb, this motto, live like a local, which means if any tourist chooses to come as an accommodation Airbnb instead of an hotel, he or she will be more likely to get engaged with local people and be more familiar in terms of how a local person lives in a particular area. Having said that, there are some negative effects of Airbnbs according to the current literature, despite it's not really wide, still there is a lack of research in this area. This is what we have found, that there are three, this kind of effects can be classified into three groups. First of all, there are economic effects coming to higher housing prices, which is merely because many flat apartment owners are more willing to put their apartments for as an Airbnb, list as an Airbnb instead of renting them monthly to locals, which of course let them earn more money. However, puts local people in a harder situation as a result of increased prices and shrinked supply of housing. And second one is unconventional tourism. It's obvious that unlike hotels and other traditional accommodations, it's much harder to trace number of tourists and bed nights in Airbnbs, which as a result brings up a problem of less effective or non-appropriate tourism development strategies, as policymakers don't have exact statistics. Second comes environmental pollution, which is pollution by tourists, and social issues are arising as a result of malbehavior of the tourists in the specific area. Also, here we can see the obstacles for Airbnbs in general for their business operations. Despite it was a unique service, unique and successful innovative tourism product, it currently faces regulations and therefore legal issues. Also, it is not really easy for Airbnb to control quality that is offered by hosts, as those apartments are not directly belonging to the Airbnb company itself. It's a company that's operating without an asset, in fact. Also, some hosts are charging high prices. It's also really hard to define. Also, there is a when it comes to searching online platform for recommendations, usually Airbnb is not coming up as an option. And lastly, there is also a lack of cohesive marketing plan in terms of Airbnbs. Here we can sum up what we have said in a mind map. We can see our problems and our goal, which is utilizing blockchain technology. I was talking about innovations. We mentioned that Airbnb was a product innovation. However, there is a process innovation as well, which brings up utilization of information and communication technologies. Blockchain is a primary example here, and our goal is to utilize blockchain in terms of dealing with the sustainability issues of Airbnbs. And here I will give the word to my colleague Mandana, as she is going to further elaborate this topic.
Hello to everyone. My name is Mandana. And following the Alishan, I want to mention some of the applications nowadays we use, and all companies and industries use this technology in their for themselves. And some of the applications nowadays using more than even before during this decade we are living. Some in the online music banking system, and a clear example is some cryptocurrencies and stock marketing and IoT and so on. I want to borrow the phrases from the Kharmalov, and he mentioned one of the article. It's better we focus on the advantage of the blockchain more, because the advantage and the positive side of the using blockchain more than the negative. So in this slide, I collected some of the benefits of the blockchain technology as a transparency, security, efficiency, and trust. Our exact meaning of the trust is our customer trust and their behavior. About the efficiency, what's happened when we use the blockchain platform in the Airbnb or this kind of the system and the online website and so on. And about the security, other example about the security can be has related to the some protocol and the smart contract between the companies, and in about our issue and about this article specifically about the guests and the owners. And the transparency is the first and the highest level of the blockchain effect when we use it in our system. So all of this is a kind of a chain. When we use this technology in Airbnb, we can achieve all of them. And finally, our main goal and our dreamy goal is the sustainability. We will obtain it directly. About the blockchain and Airbnb, I want to mention a clear example. And now we are here and discuss about this article, but the travel website and the travel industry and brand use this technology in their system, and they achieve the transparency and the customer trust and the more efficiency in their system, and they really recommend it to other brands and the other this kind of the system use this technology because it has, as I mentioned here, transparency and significantly lower fees. And so when our system has transparency and when we show and exhibit our functions step by step to our customers in the Airbnb, to our guests, following that we achieve their trust. And so in the finally, we are more effective and we are a sustainable system. So if we want to use this idea in the real world as a travel, so we have to follow the theory, and we choose the isomorphism theory one by one in the mimetic isomorphism and coercive isomorphism and normative isomorphism. If I want to clarify one by one this isomorphism, in the first group, it's a kind of a strategy as the travel follow, and we recommend it to Airbnb follow it. It's a kind of a strategy when a company, meaning in our brand specifically, is in an uncertain situation, it's a good choice to use a new technology and analyze, and it can be very wonderful method and pave the way even for the other brands and other systems and so on. And it's a very sensible concept. In the next group of isomorphism, it's bring back to every government's laws and rules. It has root in the every society and government. They say you have to use this technology in your system. Okay. In the last group about the normative, as we can see from the name of this group, it brings back to the norm of the each society, norm of the, for example, we are living in Budapest, so yours and our guests come from the other countries here. They follow the norm. We are here and we follow it here. So if they try to adapt themselves with some specific kind of the norms, it can be very effective. And this is our main theory, as I clarify shortly because of our time limitation. And our methodology, we will follow that. We choose a qualitative method based on grounded theory, and we will follow it because we think it's more effective and we can achieve the more practical result and introduce a model based on interviews, and it's more efficient, I can say. And I divided into some groups here in the stages of the grounded theory for our viewers, and thank you so much for your attention and for this time and platform again.
Okay, great, Alisha and Mandana. Very new area you have spoken just now. I mean, just for my knowledge and for the knowledge of all the presenters here, that is one small question. What is the scope of blockchain technology in tourism, travel and tourism industry in general? What do you see about the future?
What's the future? If we use this technology in the Airbnb, for example, when we illustrate our transparency and we are, for example, we say as a rent, as an owner, I say, okay, I have this house with this legal and with this position, and you can come in here and so on. And following that, our guests can count on me easily and rely on me. So based on that is a transparency, and following that we achieve sustainability. And between these two keywords, we achieve a lot of the positive results, and financially, as Alishan said, social and the economical, all of them.
Okay, great. There was a question asked by one presenter, Muhammad Zahir. What are the main differences between those three isomorphisms? I think speakers have already spoken on that. Yeah, I think yes. Because it was a question, and in the chat box it is written actually. So I think you have already spoken on that. Yes.
Okay. I answer this question now.
Yeah, you can answer quickly, ma'am. Yeah, surely.
Okay, I bring back to slide of the isomorphism. Each one of them, we can mix two groups of the isomorphism or follow just one of them. In the first group, it has a root in the small society as a company. For example, as Airbnb. Airbnb, for example, said we are in the uncertain position. Okay, we are as in a competition with the other brands, and other companies say us. So it's better now we choose a new technology and follow it. Okay, and they try to analyze the new technology and so on. Okay, but in the next group, in the next group of isomorphism, it has a related to the biggest society. My meaning is a government. Okay, for example, Airbnb system government in Budapest completely different. In the, for example, Berlin, in the New York, completely different. It's bring back this network. So it's a bigger society. We follow it. But the last one bring back to us, bring back to our guests. Okay, it's bring back to norm. And in this group, if I want to clarify more, I can mention the social media rules. We follow which kind of norm, we follow which kind of method to use it. For example, maybe after 3 years, 5 years, as I mentioned by example, we travel. Maybe after some years, we change to Airbnb as a university student, as a, for example, guest, to the travel, because transparency is for us more important. It's bring back the network size, and it's bring back our main goal and our main customers.
Okay. I think, yeah. absolutely. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, just one. I think you're almost at the end of the session. We have seen, presentations from different countries. I think I have the list with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 presenters were there, but actually 5 presenters have spoken. One presenter was not there. He was from my same country where I'm talking from, UAE. Apart from that, I think 5 presenters spoken on 5 different areas. We've learned a lot of new things, especially the topics on the blockchain technology, topics on the impact of COVID on the local businesses, and all these things are quite interesting to me. And definitely the first one, which was spoken by Dr. Jose from Mexico, which was actually a wonderful thing to speak on, because we did not know about Mexico that much. So some idea we have got. So thank you so much. We are finishing the session with all of your permission, and our next session will be starting at 5. Just I got the message from the host. So thank you so much. Somewhere in the world, sometime we'll meet again in any academic forum. Thank you so much. Good luck. Stay safe. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, sir.